Let's bust a myth. The biggest one, the most persistent one, the myth that men fall in love with their eyes. Ladies, get this out of your head. The truth is, your perfect hairstyle and that gorgeous dress, they only work for the initial yes. After that, a completely different process kicks in. I didn't believe it myself for a long time until I came across a study. Not some glossy magazine article, but proper research from psychologists at the University of California. You know what they discovered? They proved that in the first few minutes of conversation, the male brain conducts not a visual, but a scanning operation. It instinctively looks for signs of emotional maturity, not the shape of your lips, but the ability to listen. Not your hip line, but a confident, calm tone. And most importantly, the absence of a victim mentality. It's a scan for sanity, for reliability. Your appearance is just a beautiful cover, and at that moment, he's checking if the book itself is worth reading. And I can see many of you thinking, come on, if a girl is really beautiful, he'll forgive her anything. No. I remember a friend of mine, flawless looking, goes on a date.
Wearing a dress fit for a Vogue cover. He's looking at her, mesmerized. And an hour later, she walks out of the bar, alone, furious at herself and him. And she's replaying the entire evening in her head, her perfect dress, his interested gaze, and her own phrase, thrown out after his story about work, "Yeah, all you men are selfish." And that was it. The admiration in his eyes vanished instantly, as if someone had flipped a switch. Her beauty didn't save her, because in those minutes, he scanned her and found a deficiency of that very maturity. And the most common deficiency that makes high-value men distance themselves is exactly what we do next. And what do we do when we like someone? Right. We make fatal mistake number 2. With the best intentions, of course, we start to smother him emotionally. I call it the 72-hour syndrome. You know, in the relationship coaching world, there's this unspoken 72-hour rule. It's not magic, it's an observation. If in those first 3 days a man is bombarded with messages, "Hey, how are you? Ooh, look at this funny cat. What are you doing? Where are you?"
A dozen likes on his stories and a comment on a 5-year-old photo, what does he read? He doesn't think, what an attentive girl. No, his psyche, the very one that just scanned you for reliability, screams at him, red flag. He thinks you have no life of your own, that you're desperately looking for someone to latch onto. And you know what his core fear wakes up at this moment? I quote psychologist Robert Glover. The fear of being absorbed is one of the strongest male fears in relationships. He reads your pressure not as a compliment, but as a future threat to his personal space, his friends, his hobbies. He hasn't even had time to miss you yet, and you're already not letting him go. Just like in that joke. Honey, where will we be dating in a year? But we just met yesterday. Really? I feel like we've been together for so long already. And okay, if we just texted a lot. But no, it gets worse. Because when we calm down a bit, we make mistake number 3. We decide we need to be honest and open and dump all our emotional baggage on him. All our resentments, fears, and pain. And so it seems everything is fine.
You survived those first 72 hours without excessive texting. He messaged, you met again, and here lurks perhaps the most dangerous trap. Mistake number 3. I call it the emotional torpedo, and it's a direct hit. You're sitting in a cozy cafe, he's telling a funny story from his trip to Italy,
and the thought is forming in your head. Sound familiar? He's so light, uncomplicated, and I'm all with baggage. I should probably be honest. If he's the real one, he should accept all my past and my problems right away. Stop. This is a false assumption, the most dangerous of all, because it seems so right, so heartfelt, but it's a landmine. Remember that research from California? They talked about signs of maturity. Well, trust isn't built in one evening. It's built gradually, like rings on a tree trunk. Every date is a new ring. And what do? We take and dump everything on him, all at once. All our exes, our resentments, problems with the boss, friend dramas. The story about pasta and wine drowns in this flow. He stops smiling. His gaze becomes distant, as if he's mentally already devising an escape plan from this coffee shop hell.
And you know what's the most offensive thing? Often after this, we don't even understand what happened. We just see he's become colder. And then we make the next mistake. We don't ask what's wrong. We get offended silently and wait for him to read our minds. And so he became colder after our honesty. And what do? Do we say, honey, what's wrong? Let's talk. Of course not. We get offended silently. We activate the Ice Queen mode. We answer in monosyllables. We wait. We wait for him to finally figure out what he's guilty of and start begging us. This is mistake number 4. And for the male brain, it's the most mysterious and unbearable one. Ladies, remember once and for all, the male brain is wired for literal and logical perception. This is a little-known fact that will save you tons of nerves. And there's one brilliant quote that explains it all. Men don't read minds. They read news, sports scores, and technical manuals. If you want him to understand something, say it. With words. Directly. And if you think that's the limit, oh no, there's one more, a 5th mistake. It's the culmination of all the previous ones. It's the final chord, after which even the most patient man mentally packs his bags. And so we come to the finale, to the mistake that collects all the previous ones. Mistake number 5. I call it the negativity and criticism syndrome. This is when we, wishing him only the best, of course, start to improve him, correct him, and remake the world around us to our perfect standard. In male communities, on forums, there's a very bitter but accurate joke. Ready? If a woman says she wants to help you grow, run. It means she wants to cut you down to her size. And this isn't just cynicism. This is a cry from the heart, because the male psyche is wired differently. It's oriented towards solving problems. And what are you offering him? You're offering him to fight windmills. Your constant focus on negativity in politics, in his table manners, and how he parks, he perceives not as care, but as an endless list of unsolvable problems. It's not a task. It's a futile endeavor. It drains his motivation at the root. This is perfectly illustrated by an old joke. She, honey, I've been thinking about how you should change jobs.
And I've been thinking about how we should change the subject. He's not being rude. He is defending himself. He's defending his last bastion, his inner peace and self-confidence. Because a high-value man will not stay long where he is constantly questioned. And so, collecting all 5 mistakes together, pressure, emotional torpedo, resentment, criticism, what do we get? A complete portrait of a woman who is hard work, unbearably hard work. And now,
the most important question: what to do with all this? How to turn these mistakes into strength? In the finale of this video, I'll give you not just a conclusion, but a specific key to action, the very one that once flipped my own relationships. Stay, just for a couple more minutes, it will change everything. So, 5 mistakes. Let's put this puzzle together. What does a man who faces all this get? He doesn't get a woman, he gets a full-scale renovation project with constant emergencies. And a high-value man, the very one you want to build a relationship with, he's not looking for a renovation project. He's looking for a partner, not an emotional crutch, but a safe harbor, not a battlefield, but a place of strength.
The writer Norman Mailer once said something genius that many women don't understand. Women make a mistake in thinking that all men want is sex. What men really want is peace. And now imagine a different picture. He meets her 6 months after all these difficult stories. They're sitting in a cafe. She's laughing, listening to his story, doesn't interrupt, doesn't try to insert a moralizing story, doesn't check her phone. And when he, apologizing, suggests rescheduling, she just smiles and says, "Of course, let's do Wednesday." And he catches himself thinking that he's looking forward to that Wednesday. Being around her was easy. And in that ease was such incredible strength that it made the beauty of any other woman pale in comparison. So, that's the whole secret. It's not about becoming perfect. It's about stopping being heavy. If this resonated with you, smash the like button on this video. Write in the comments which mistake was the biggest revelation for you. Your stories will help others. And subscribe to the channel. We have many more conversations ahead about building relationships based on strength, not weakness. So we've gone through all 5 mistakes and arrived at the main takeaway, at what lies behind this whole story. Attractiveness isn't just about facial symmetry and the perfect figure. It is first and foremost psychological comfort. It's that feeling of peace, strength, and predictability you give a man just by your presence. And this comfort isn't built on tricks or manipulations. It's built on 3 pillars you now know well. First, working on your emotional maturity. The ability to listen, not dump your problems. The ability to stay calm, not get offended over nothing. Second, directness. Talking about your desires with words, not riddles. Creating clarity, not tense silences. And third, a positive outlook on the world. Being the person who sees opportunities, not just problems, who inspires, not criticizes. And it's this work on your maturity, directness, and inner light that is the most reliable, most powerful way to attract and keep that very high-value man. Not because you caught him, but because he feels good with you. Because next to you, he feels stronger, not drained. This is that very ease of being that is more valuable than any appearance.
Start this work with yourself, and you'll be amazed how the world around you changes. Thank you for being with me today. If this video resonated with you, share it with your friends. Discuss in the comments which mistake you'll say goodbye to first. Your journey to conscious relationships starts now.